we're talking on video, and I pulled the Johnny Carson. I'm speaking with Dan Davis. Say hello to
Howdy. Hello, good people out there in
Nissan
Knife Land.
Yeah, a cart.
What I would suggest is a Mac Mini.
I don't want mini. I want bigger.
No.
This is gonna be like the editing room around
A
the
Mac
corner.
Mini it's about this big, and it's just the CPU.
Oh, okay.
Attach an external monitor.
Yeah.
But you can get, like the one I got only has 250 gig of.
You can get a terabyte for a couple $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. That's just a separate hard
If you get a
drive.
Mac Mini, then you can attach it to that TV.
What do you mean?
You could use that TV right there as your editing monitor with a Mac Mini.
Oh, okay. I got you.
With microphones. Okay, I have a thing. I personally would not ever use a USB microphone. Not that they're not any good.
Like what we're using now?
Yeah, well, like this connection here for your microphone.
Oh, okay.
I want an XLR. It's got the 3-pin plug.
The professional stuff.
Yeah, but because that's my world.
That's $60 microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
And it's a
talking about
great
$600
microphone.
microphone.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference.
Yeah, but well,
is the lighting.
Yeah.
So this is crappy lighting, but it's lighting nonetheless.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're in a dark gray room without it.
Yeah.
You know, if we turn these off, it would really suck.
I mean, what I saw looked very natural.
Yeah. Now, I need to get softbox lighting.
Mhm.
I need to get a couple of those.
Yeah.
Put them over here, because when you get that lighting just right, and you get your room just right, and you can accent off your cool back wall, and it's really tight on you, and then you can do a blur back if you want, stuff like that. You can do all these cool things. Just how much better it is it's crazy.
Yeah.
And they show it to you.
Yeah.
So I do want. That's my next investment. Is see, the thing though is I'm going to probably. I've got another building over here. It's called the pub. I call it the pub. It's a weak attempt at a pub, but it's kind of a cool building. Brick walls on the inside. It's got some cast iron gates on the inside that are kind of neat. Really gives you like kind of an Irish pub feel. I don't know how the sound's going to be because there's no windows and it's brick walls.
When the time comes for that, it's an easy fix.
Okay.
You don't need to soundproof everywhere, because it's geometry is geometry. So if the sound is going to go this way, and if it's a flat surface, it's going to bounce off that glass. It's going to bounce right back at the microphone.
Right. I'm starting to focus more on it, and that's just that's growth.
Yeah.
Because if you're not trying to improve your craft, or you're getting better, then you're guaranteed it's just gonna be a hobby.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because this isn't even a hobby messing around with this. It's like therapy / chill. Yeah, I know, but
It may not have been open, but
I didn't trust it, to be honest with you.
we've been there a few times.
I wanted a sealed bag of chips.
Yeah, I get it.
After I saw that
I get
kitchen.
it. Yeah.
I'm kind of weird about that sometimes too. Sometimes I'm not, but I don't want to see the kitchen.
Yeah.
I want it to be a mysterious door where they take a piece of paper in and bring a burger out.
Oh, I get it.
Somehow magically, that piece of paper turned into a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? And I don't see the cockroaches. I don't see how they don't have food in the coolers, or they're not washing their hands, or they're smoking, or they scratch their butt. I don't want to see it.
Okay.
That kitchen at the palace was wide open. And, I sat in the back for...
Yeah, it's like that way.
Yeah, and I popped in because I was just walking the door. But I don't know. I've also got this thing. I didn't think I say it in the video. Like, I was embarrassed that they didn't have a crowd that they deserved. I get embarrassed for things. So when something's cringe, and that was cringe to me to a degree, and I also didn't feel deserving to hear that music at such an incredible quality. Right out of the go.
Oh, yeah.
Hardly a sound check.
Yeah. He played for 3.5 hours.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
They had an intermission. At that intermission, I'm looking at Shanks. I'm like, why are we standing around? How come we haven't left yet? At the intermission.
Yeah.
That was over. If it was me, 20 people watching, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, but this guy was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, definite pro.
Because they played somewhere in Illinois on Thursday, and they were playing somewhere in Kentucky on Saturday.
Yeah.
So let's as long as you pay for our hotel, feed us.
Right.
Give us a couple of bucks. We'll do a show.
We'll stop here on the way.
That's what I said, because I put a video on Facebook that it's like you know, you hear about these shows at, you know, Ruhoff, excuse me, Deer Creek, and all these other places that people are paying $200-300 for a ticket, $20 for parking, blah blah blah, everything. $20 to get in. I mean, you were surprised as I was the first time. It's really only just $20 to get in here to see this show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally going to see the band leader of Muddy Waters.
Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah.
John Primer.
Yeah.
And then also this Steve Bell guy who's unbelievable.
And they're just hanging out at the bar at the intermission and before the show and talking, having conversations, and beer $3 a can for PBR.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you? Well, even that Elm Street, I think I paid for 2 beers and a burger. It was under $25.
Yeah, that Elm Street was a gem.
That was so good.
I was very surprised because I was like in the car with Brad because I'm kind of like I don't go out that often.
Yeah.
Event wise,
Mhm.
you know, I'm always out and about, but like evening out, see blues with friends of mine, whole evening, left at 3:30.
Yeah.
Didn't get home till 2.
Yeah.
1:30, 2 o'clock. That's a long time.
Mm-mm.
All right, that's a commitment.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to make that commitment, I'm going to eat somewhere nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at first, we pulled up to this warehouse. No sign.
I would not. They probably don't get a lot of drop-ins. People,
No.
let's stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I get that because that's kind of you saw how busy it got.
Oh yeah.
You know? So it's doing well, and it's in a college town, even though the town's dying. But Ball State's going to support them, especially with their setting.
Yeah.
So it was awesome, and it was beautiful inside.
Mhm.
The decor was down my alley.
Yeah.
The rustic chic kind of styling of everything, and
Yeah.
you know all these different eclectic little mini chandeliers
Mhm.
everywhere. I talked to that bartender briefly, and he didn't really know shit.
Yeah.
But he did kind of say that like the owner's wife is very involved in the decor, and
Well,
that was
Yeah,
cool.
and well, that's really great. The wonderful theater up in Marshall, Michigan. I mean, it's an overnight trip. But well, there's also Scott and I have been. So we're going to go again. Alpena. I don't know if I've talked about this. Alpena is it's the 45th parallel. So it's halfway between the equator and the North Pole. So it's way up northern Michigan. Actually, over here. Good 8-hour drive from Indianapolis, and they have this blues festival, and they get big name headliners playing. And that's another thing. We were there last year. It was inside. Usually it was outside. Last year it was inside. Brad joined us up there. And we counted, the biggest crowd they had was 35 people. And it goes from noon to midnight.
See, that'd be painful for me.
Oh,
You're calling it a festival.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to call it a festival if there's only 35 people.
But they had this year, they had like these guys in the middle they go into these guitar solos. And it's like, I'm sorry, you're playing a heavy metal, Eddie Van Halen guitar solo. That's not what I'm here to see.
Right.
I'm here, B.B. King guitar solo, or John Primer guitar solo. There's a difference.
I feel that there's a more chiseled viewership out there.
Mhm.
Like you're getting at, I think, and what I'm going to say is I sat back and if you saw my video about it, I witnessed harmony.
Mhm.
And that was so much better than a solo
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
It was so much better than John Primer just being up there, killing it himself, and they had an okay drummer, an okay bassist,
Yeah.
and an okay harmonica guy.
Yeah.
No, he had a top-notch harmonica guy. I don't know the pedigree of the drummer, but I know he's good.
Yeah. Well,
And the bass player was really good. He's subtle.
You go to the John Primer Real Deal Blues Band website.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Bass player, I think it's like John Forte or something. I think his last name is Forte. He's played with all the greats.
I saw that. I was wondering if he was just like a white guy that was doing his time with true, real blues people
Yeah. No, he's got
to break into
Yeah.
the new style stuff with the blues flair. Because that was popular. Sting.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
that with Police. And then John Sexton.
Mhm.
He was incredible. But where they go and they played with these guys and they did their time in the gin joints and the small things. But no, he's a career guy. What?
Did he play with Taj Mahal?
Who's the bassist?
Sting. Well,
Oh, I don't know. I just know that
Yeah.
he really did his time,
Yeah.
and he had chops.
Yeah.
That the MTV era didn't know anything really about it, but it got him in there.
Yeah.
And then of course they were awesome. Police was great, and then he was incredible. But that was kind of a thing back. It was kind of like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
That if you want to be considered a bluesy
Mhm.
dude, you had to spend some time with John Primer. You know what I mean? Not
There's
John, just John, but all
a
of them.
guy, I think it was in 3 years ago. I saw a poster for it in the Key Palace. Harold and the White Boys, I think he was called. And Harold, black man, plays bass and was the leader. And then he had 2 white guys on guitar who would switch off lead. and it would. Scott said he didn't care for all that much, but I thought it was so cool because the guitar players had very different styles.
Yeah.
And in this song, this guy gets to take it and soar.
Yeah.
And then the next song, that guy takes it to soar. And
in the blues world, they have different tools too.
Yeah.
So like one guy's really good. What do they call that thing?
The slide.
The slide.
Slide, yeah.
So one guy's probably a slide guy, and the other guy's probably a plucker, and the other guy's whatever.
Yeah.
So they had the different elements
Yeah.
that
And all
you couldn't be good at all of them unless you were incredible.
3 different guitars because he had a Gibson and I think he had a Fender he played at one point.
Was that John?
So, yeah. And then might have been like an Epiphone. But that's what I think is so interesting is that what does that guitar get him that this one does? Because in that Rolling Stones video, he's playing a Strat, Fender Strat.
Maybe it's feel.
Yeah, it could be.
Just how it feels in his hands when he's singing a song. You know what I mean? It's
So
like
like the Telecaster.
you're talking about one thing I was holding this night,
Yeah.
and you were talking about something else, and I was listening to you and I was holding that.
That's the way it feels.
If that was my
That the
Fender.
a Fender Telecaster versus a Fender Stratocaster. Telecaster is more rock and roll. Stratocaster is more like a country band will play.
right.
More often see the
And then then it just became a popular thing. All these rock stars have like 10 guitars behind them now.
Yeah.
And everybody thought that was the coolest thing in the world back in the day.
Mhm.
Now it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows you can probably achieve about the same sound on one
Well,
good
you
guitar.
you got these like emulation that there's a setting in the audio mixing software that you want your guitar to sound like a Gibson. You want it to
Yeah.
sound like a Fender. You want it to
Yeah.
sound like a Gretsch. That's what it is.
But at the end of the day, we're talking on video, and I pulled the Johnny Carson.
Mhm.
I'm speaking with Dan Davis. Say hello
Howdy,
to.
howdy.
There-
Hello, good people out there in
There we
Ace
go.
on Knives land.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll carve it up, try to make it into something because now I'm collecting
Yeah.
data now.
That'd be great.
I'll cut it up, try to make it as interesting as possible so that we can not lose people in 30 seconds, but we'll lose them in 45.
That's half. That's a 50% increase.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's definitely so I'll go for that. Shorten it, obviously, because that you're not really probably familiar with right now, but downloading videos longer than say 12 minutes on YouTube could sometimes go 3 days.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll go in 20 minutes. Depends on when you do it.
I don't usually download them. I just watch them on the app.
Well, it's kind of like so I started my channel earlier this year, and I got a lot of videos. 720 videos in 1 year. Not even a year. Where are we at? 10 months.
Yeah, it's a lot of videos.
And I didn't start until whatever. But dude, it's my therapy.
Yeah.
It's me being the jackass side of me that I'm not always, because I have a serious side.
Yeah.
A very serious side. Sometimes too serious, to where I'm grumpy.
Mm.
I'm moody. But so if I am sitting around and I'm in between jobs, the tripod's there, everything's set up, I'll just sit down and I'll just start talking about something. And then 9 out of 10 times, I'm like, I like that. I'm going to cut it up and turn it into a 7-minute, a 12-minute, a 3-minute, whatever it may be. But if you went through that whole library of crap, it's really crap. But it's kind of like my crap.
Yeah.
There's some gems in there where I was just on. I was saying the right things. I was hitting the right topics. I edited it right. I audioed it right. And sometimes I'll go back through and I'll see the thumbnail and I'll go, I'm going to watch it. And I'll be like, why can't I just do that all the time?
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
No,
You just can't. And you got to accept that.
But she may not be done yet. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
But it was a pleasure
Yeah.
to get to one-on-one talk to you without anybody else around.
Mhm.
Talk about your stuff, your past, your very interesting past, because then let's do a quick timeline.
Mhm.
Dan Davis timeline.
all right.
High school. After high school.
After high school, I went to Indiana University, Bloomington. I wanted to be a radio personality. So I went to IU.
So you knew this early.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember listening to those of you, in my age group, WNAP in the 1970s, and thinking, I want to do that. And it was like, I want to do this. I think this is so cool. Talking on a
So
microphone.
you did the first time
That
then,
was the first time anybody had ever.
and you loved it.
I
It
absolutely
wasn't
loved it.
scary.
No, not at all. I mean, for one thing, you're just talking into a microphone. You don't think about all the people listening. They gave you the script and you talk into the microphone. So I decided in high school, I want to be in radio. So I went to IU, majored in telecommunications. This was Indiana University, Bloomington in the 1980s. So shockingly, I did not get my degree in 4 years. The summer after my senior year, and a job at a radio station opened up in Winchester, Indiana, WCCY FM. And I'm like, I went to college. There's your cat. Went to college to work in radio. I got a job in radio. College was a success, so I left without a degree. And left that to go into stand-up comedy. full-time stand-up
What
comedy.
year was that?
That was 1989.
And you graduated from high school
78.
78. So this is 11 years later.
And so I did stand-up for about I got married in September of 88. So in September of 89, I waited a year because the Bible says that the Hebrew warriors, when they got married, they were to stay home for a year and cheer up their wives. So
Did you do that for that reason?
I certainly gave it my best attempt.
That-
That was one of the reasons.
That was a conscious
That was a
attempt?
conscious decision. I'm going to wait to go out on the road. I'm going to be married for a year, and then I'm going to go on the road. So I left my job at the recording studio, went on the road, was on the road from 89 to about 94, because my older son was born in 93. And being a road comic and a new dad is not a good combination.
No.
So, yeah, I got out at the right time. And so I retired in 2020, and since then been doing all kinds of stuff. Very little of it makes me any kind of money, but you know,
Does it make you joy?
it gives me joy, which to me is a lot more important.
You know, that's the most important thing, if you ask me, is that you do what you love,
Yeah.
love what you do. And that's very cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been like anybody else. I was captive to the machine for several years, and then it was 10 years ago I freed myself with my business, doing what I do, fortunate enough to do that. And then this year has been liberating just by stepping outside of my comfort zones and doing this stuff. Well, man, I really
It really
thank you for coming.
This is fun.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm going to carve this up, try to make it into a palatable video to watch.